It's the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast with the Enforcer.
I believe they're called enforcers, Gordon. I sell women's shoes.
And the Stallion.
Stallion, baby! I am not what you would call a handsome man.
I'll kick you in the nuts and you'll smile at me and like it.
Oh, nice! Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. He is the Stallion. I am the Enforcer, and we are back in a Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor themed show. It's the best time of the year, Joe. Best time of the year, Daddy.
What do you mean, like winter? Because it's snowing. It's been snowing out this week. Is that what you mean? Winter? You're a winter fan?
I am a fan of winter, and there's no Game of Thrones-esque reference in there because I don't watch that stupid shit. But I am a fan of winter, but I'm also a fan of WrestleMania week. So it is WrestleMania week, and not only is it WrestleMania week, it's like the Super Bowl meets the World Series for wrestling all rolled into one. You've got everybody's in New right now. I think that's how they pronounce it. You know, I'm not from down south, but I do watch Pit Bulls and Parolees, and that's how they say it. So
okay. I thought maybe there was like a Real Housewives of New Orleans that is that something that exists?
Real Hola. No, I don't think so. But anyway, everybody who is a professional wrestler is in New Orleans this week. Everybody's running shows. Evolve, Shimmer, Shine, Impact, MLW, Ring of Honor, of course, WWE, NXT, Lucha Underground. Who am I forgetting? Who else is there? Everybody's there.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of shows going on during the course of the week and over the weekend. There's like that WrestleCon convention and all sorts of other stuff, probably Progress and all these other people that are coming in from various promotions, both men, women, and the like. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we are looking to focus on the Ring of Honor show here tonight. Obviously, the major ones, I guess, over the weekend will be Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor on Saturday, late afternoon, early evening, I believe, and NXT's show Takeover from New Orleans on Saturday night, and then WrestleMania on Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, and possibly Monday morning.
And then probably Monday afternoon, and then Monday night, and then maybe into Thursday.
Yeah. So, that's it, but we're gonna So unlike that, we're not gonna do our show for 5 hours long. We're splitting up the predictions in the previous re-show so people can consume us in shorter chunks, as I think it's easier for people to digest. From what I think you're reaching. I think that's a reach. I just wanted to so that people could digest it easier. In smaller
chunks. I picture like zombies kind of thing, like eating chunks of flesh.
So I don't know how you wanted to do this. Did you want to just get right into the matches? It looks like there's 10 matches, 2 on the pre-show, which are the semifinals of the Women of Honor Championship tournament, and then the finals will be on the main card.
I guess we are going to get into it. I mean, I have a hot take. I don't know.
You want to do the hot take first? Go ahead.
I know it's up to you. I want you to lay the show out.
I don't know what the hot take is, so I can't judge whether it should come first or save it for the end. So I have to defer to you on that.
You know what? We'll save. It's a good idea. Let's save it for the end. Let's. So we'll hop right into it. And Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, hashtag ROH Supercard. If you want to know what the official hashtag is. So why don't you off the 2 pre-show matches?
So the 2 pre-show matches are the semifinals of the Women of Honor Championship tournament. It's Kelly Klein versus Mayu Iwatani and Sumi Sakai against Tennille Dashwood.
Mayu Iwatani, I just watched her wrestle Deonna Purrazzo on this week's episode of Ring of Honor TV. Have you been able to watch it yet?
Not yet.
A fantastic match. Deonna Purrazzo is so good, and Iwatani really impressed me. I think they're going to go with the gatekeeper, though. I think Kelly Klein She's been a stalwart for Ring of Honor for quite some time. I think the semifinals. Yeah, I think it's going to go Kelly Klein, aka Mrs. BJ Whitmer. I don't know if everybody knows that. So maybe she has a little more pull there. No, I'm just kidding. She's a very good wrestler, and she's been in the Women of Honor division for a while. And on the other side, I mean, you got to go with Tennille Dashwood, right? I mean, she's the big signing of Ring of Honor. I think there's definitely money in her name. The crowd loves her, and I think those will be your finals.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that those are two. Like you said, Kelly Klein's been there for a while, and Tennille's been their most recent signing as far as a name in the women's division is concerned. So I would expect those two to make it to the finals of the tournament, which will take place on the main card. So I don't know if you want to jump right into that match as our first on the main card, or if you want to go into some of the other stuff, because it's a pretty stacked card.
Yeah, well, let's just start right there while we're on the topic. Personally, I would have liked to see Deonna Purrazzo make it to the finals. I am a big fan of hers, but I think the smart thing to do is to put it on Tennille Dashwood. If there was more heat behind Kelly Klein, you could have Kelly Klein win and then Tennille chase her for the championship. But I think right now, with the money that's behind her, merchandise sales, and the crowd response, I think you got to put it on the artist formerly known as Emma.
So I think the only thing I would say, I guess, is as far as I know, I don't know if it's maybe I might have missed it because I was in a bit of a lull with ROH for a portion of 2017. Is Kelly Klein still undefeated in Ring of Honor / Women of Honor?
Well, she hasn't been defeated since the tournament started. Yeah, so I would say she is. Okay,
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to go with Kelly Klein. I feel like maybe they should put it on her and save her first loss for, maybe having Tennille Dashwood challenge her for the next few months and maybe take the title off of her at Best in the World or something along those lines. I think that'd be a good way to get the women on the pay-per-views. So I'm going to say Kelly Klein wins the Women of Honor Championship tournament.
Okay. I don't have the card in front of me. You want to go in order on the actual card?
Yeah, I'll just go in what's on Wikipedia. So the ROH tag team titles is the Briscoes against Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I don't know if anybody's. I know you didn't see Ring of Honor this week, but they did a good job. It was a champions match, so it was Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe versus Kenny King and Dalton Castle. They kept the Briscoes strong going into this match, which was, I think, the right thing to do. The Briscoes are one of the best tag teams, period, I think, ever. And I think them to as great of a match as I think this is going to be, I think you have to keep it on the established tag team, because I don't think Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jay Lethal are going to be defending the Ring of Honor tag team titles anytime soon. So I say you got to keep it on the Briscoes, but it's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. Like you said, usually the New Japan guys, most of them, not all, but most, usually only come in for a match here and there during the course of the year. So I don't expect Lethal and Tanahashi to win this match, especially after the Briscoes just won the tag titles at the last pay-per-view. So I'm going to say the Briscoes will retain as well. So the next match we have is a last man standing match for the ROH World Television Championship. It's champion Kenny King against Silas Young.
This feud's been building for quite some time. They've had a couple of good matches together. Kenny King just won the title at, was it not Final Battle? He just won it at
the anniversary show, right? Oh no, right. I'm sorry. It was the week before the anniversary show, right? I think it was on Ring of Honor TV, and then he defended it at the anniversary show.
Yes, you're exactly right. Silas Young, everybody kind of thought he was in line for a huge push when he won the TV title. They didn't really do much with him. I think a last man standing match, I know it's kind of Silas Young's match. I just don't think it's the right time to take the title off of Kenny King. However, nor do I want Silas Young to kind of fade back into obscurity. So I'm torn on this one, but maybe I just talked myself out of it. I think maybe Brian Malonis and Beer City will play a hand in this, and I think Silas might get the W.
I'm gonna go with Kenny King, and I'm thinking that one. I don't know how many times they could trade the TV title back and forth. Obviously, they can do whatever they want, but the Austin Aries factor from the anniversary show a couple weeks back, they kind of laid it out where he was going to challenge Kenny King. Of course, they could change that and go a different direction, but I think they're going to probably stick with Aries against Kenny King if that all kind of goes through. So I'll say that Kenny King retains here.
Can I change my pick because I completely forgot about the cup of coffee Austin Aries had in Ring of Honor last month?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't want to be that. I'm not going to be that guy. I'll ride with Silas Young, but I think you're 100% right.
Next match is Tomohiro Ishii versus Punishment Martinez in just a straight up singles match.
In no planet, on no continent, in no hemisphere, universe, or stratosphere should Punishment Martinez beat Ishii. Punishment's probably 6'8", 6'9"? He's huge, right?
He's a large man.
He's a big guy. Ishii looks huge, but he's only about 5'8", 5'9". I predict Punishment is going to get the shit kicked out of him. Ishii should win this match 10 times out of 10. Punishment's been average at best. I think BK once referred to him as an unpolished Baron Corbin, which Corbin's not polished. So an unpolished Baron Corbin is like a bronze statue that you keep in your basement that you spit on once in a while. So I'm not huge on Punishment Martinez. He had a very lackluster match at the with the CMLL talent that came in last show, and I think Ishii's got to win. He's been losing a lot in New Japan. He's got to look strong here. Ishii.
Yeah, I assume Ishii will win here also. I don't expect just the pattern of things on a lot of these shows where New Japan guys show up and wrestle in Ring of Honor is that most of the time they win. So especially in a match like this where there's not much on the line. So I'll say that Ishii will win this match. So I'll agree with you on that one. Similarly, straight up singles match, Hangman Page versus Kota Ibushi.
Oof, tough one. They've been pushing Hangman Page to the moon and back. The Golden Lovers just lost to Hangman and Cody at New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakara Genesis. I guess I don't really know what their plans are with Hangman. I think the main event of Supercard of Honor will give us an idea of where Hangman is going to go, but I don't. This is a tough one. I don't know if you bring in Ibushi just to lose to Hangman Page. I think he's too much of an attraction, and when he comes over to wrestle, I think it's special. So I think Ibushi wins this one.
Yeah, I agree. Similar argument to the one I made for the last match, but I would expect Ibushi to come over and get the win here. I'm sure it'll be a good showing, hopefully, for Page, and they'll have a nice, a long match that's very competitive. That's what I would hope for. But I would also stick with Ibushi. So
I was a little disappointed in Page's last match against Switchblade Jay White. So there was a lot. They had a good amount of time, and I was heavily invested in that match. And I don't want to say let me down, but it was kind of lackluster. So I think he needs a really good showing against Ibushi.
Well, speaking of hopefully things that will not be lackluster, the ROH 6-man tag team titles are on the line in a ladder match. It's SoCal Uncensored against the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon. This was just made on last week's Ring of Honor TV, I believe. So what are your thoughts here with the titles on the line?
Super flips. I think this match has the potential to be even better than the Young Bucks versus Hardy's match from last year. SoCal Uncensored, I mean, those guys, the combined age was 120 years, give or take. 125 years.
Yes, close to that, yes.
But Christopher Daniels is still a stud. The Bucks are great. They're obviously ladder match experts. And Flip Gordon, not exactly my cup of tea, but I think you throw a ladder in there. I think this match has a lot of potential for some really kind of wild and crazy spots. So I'm going to say Flip and the Young Bucks. And you might even, they might even bring Flip into the Bullet Club. Who knows?
Yeah, that's my initial thought too. Is I mean, I don't know. It's strange because the Young Bucks and Adam Page just had the titles maybe like a month or so ago and lost them. But I don't know. I think the story with SoCal Uncensored is supposed to be, they're going to try to throw them out of the promotion by December and all these things. I don't have any other title changes on this show, so I would think that this would be a spot where you could change it and it'll be okay. So I'll go with Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks as well to win the 6-man tag titles.
You just spoiled the main event, Joe.
What do you mean?
You just didn't know the title changes on the show.
Well, there's three. Wait, hold on. One, two. There's two more matches left. So I don't, which one do you consider the main event? The Ring of Honor title match or the Bullet Club Civil War match?
I think I think there's more juice for the Cody versus Kenny Omega match. So if you want, we can go to Dalton Castle and Marty Scurll.
Yes, Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll for the ROH World Championship.
Go for it.
Scurll had challenged Castle after Castle retained against Jay Lethal at the anniversary show in March. You know, I've thought about the idea of them changing the title here. I just feel like there's not enough build up to it. You know, it's a short turnaround between the anniversary show in March and Supercard of Honor here at the beginning of April. I think that Scurll should win it. I think he should be the guy that takes it off of Castle next. But I think this might be a little bit too quick for it. So I'll say that Castle retains.
I agree with everything you said. I think about a year and a half ago, you and I were saying they need to put Marty Scurll in the main event picture. A year and a half later, they finally are. I think it is too soon for it, but I think they're going to do it. I think you know, Castle has had a decent run with the title. There were some interesting segments, some opportunity with him and Jay Lethal, but I think bringing the title on Marty Scurll, who arguably is one of the most over guys, and you know, aside from the Young Bucks, Omega and Cody, I think Marty's right up there in terms of popularity. I know merchandise sales and things like that are super important. So I think Marty wins this one. I think he's a new Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah, I could definitely see it happening. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. And the final match is, as you mentioned, the Cody versus Kenny Omega singles match. There's no titles or anything at stake here. It's just been kind of the story of the Bullet Club kind of splitting apart in certain folks. And Omega, I don't know exactly what the deal is with all these guys, but obviously Omega has been aligning himself with Ibushi. They just had the match against Cody and Paige at the Genesis show that you mentioned over the weekend. I think Omega's wrestled the Young Bucks, right? Him and Ibushi wrestled the Young Bucks at the Long Beach show. So there's been a whole back and forth story with that. At the pay-per-view, Omega appeared as the mascot, right, in the bear outfit, and surprised Cody. So that's the main event match here. And again, I guess, you know, I expect it to be a good match. It should be pretty heated. I would think the crowd will be super into it. There's going to be like over 6,000 people at this show as far as I've seen so far. I'm not sure if they're still selling tickets or if that'll continue to grow, but last I saw it was well over 6,000 people that'll be in attendance. So I don't see again that they would hang a loss on Omega at this point. It just seems he's a little bit, probably needs to be protected a little bit more. I think Cody would benefit a lot from getting a win. I just don't see them doing it. So I'll say that Omega wins the match.
For everything you said, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does, you know, going forward. I've been watching a lot the Being the Elite, which they always seem to tie into the matches. And this week on Being the Elite, Nick and Matt, the Young Bucks, heard Cody try to change the logo, and there was a little bit of deception. I mean, it could all be a ruse for them to turn on Kenny and, you know, put Kenny over Superface. I don't know. I'm going with my heart on this one, and because Cody is so good at what he does, he has me buying into and truly disliking him as a heel, and I want Kenny Omega to win. I think he's a better wrestler. I enjoy watching him more. Cody's a good heel, and he has some decent matches, but he doesn't really, you know, blow anybody away in the ring. So I'm gonna say going with my heart, I'm going to say Kenny Omega, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bucks turn on him and, you know, really go full heel with the Bullet Club instead of like that tweener, cool, kind of not cool thing. So it's going to be a good show.
That is, yeah, it's going to be a good show. What is it? 6 o'clock on Saturday? Is that? I will make sure I get this right.
No, that's 6 o'clock Central Time, I think.
6 o'clock Central Time. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 1:15 a.m. our time.
Wait a minute. Where is this being held? New Orleans. Okay. All right. I'm trying to search quickly to find the exact time. Here we go. Supercard of Honor in New Orleans. Bell time is 7:30 Central, so that's 6:30 our time. So I imagine it'll probably be 6:30 is probably when they'll do the women's matches, right? And then 7 o'clock is the main show. So it'll start before NXT, but it'll run into NXT. So there'll be some overlap there. So for anybody who's watching one and not the other, but those are our predictions for Supercard of Honor. And at some point, right, I don't know exactly we know what day yet, but we're gonna work on that, right? We're gonna do NXT, I think, right, next, and then followed by the what's it called?
I'm banging out one a day for the next 3 days. Let's do it.
Okay.
Just really immerse ourselves in the NOLA podcast.
Immerse is a great word. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So this is obviously Supercard of Honor. Do you want to do all the plugs, not hair plugs, but the
I want to do my hot take, Joe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the hot take. Holy cow, my attention span is like a gnat. So feel free. Go ahead. Give me the hot take.
Who, you know me, who favorite professional wrestler of all time?
Bret Hart.
There we go. And you are?
Shawn
Michaels, of course. To this day, Kenny Omega is 34 years old. Bret Hart was 34 years old in 1991. Shawn Michaels was 34 years old in 1999. Kenny Omega has had better matches to this point in his career than Bret and Shawn Michaels did to this point in their career.
Okay. That's your take?
I want your opinion.
My opinion would be the opposite of that. How's that sound?
It's like a
How about
three-part thing. How do you have the opposite? How can it be the opposite of a three-part thing?
The opposite of everything, all parts, all inclusive of all of those things.
I truly think that in the ring, Kenny has had better matches.
Okay.
But I also would attribute it to the schedule and the frequency of matches, because when you think about, Shawn and Bret wrestled for Calgary and Shawn wrestled in the AWA and things like that. And how often were they really running shows back then?
I don't know.
Every weekend, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know too much about that part of their careers. I mean, if I look at it from a perspective of, and I don't want to delve too deep into it, right? But if you look at Bret, like Bret was there WrestleMania 2, right, going forward. So like 85. He was like 85 to 97. So he was there for like 12 years. And Shawn was there from like 88, I think. And then, he kind of in and out, did different things from like 88 to like 2010. Obviously, he had, of course, the gap in there of 4 years. So you said that Bret was 34 years old in 1991?
Yes.
And that Shawn was 34 years old in 1999?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's just no, like, Shawn was wrestling in the WWF for 11 years by that point. I'll just stick with Shawn because obviously that's where I know more of my stuff. But he was in the WWE, for 11 years alone by that point. So he had a ton of great matches as the Rockers, a ton of great matches as the Intercontinental Champion, a ton of great matches as the World Champion from 96, most of that year, a ton of great matches in 97 all the way up until his retirement in 98. So, and Omega, I think, has really come to prominence the last like 3 years as far as having great matches. I can't tell you what he did prior to like 2014 or 2015. He was in obscurity as far as I know. So 3 years of good matches versus over a decade for both of those guys, I can't compare and say that he's had a better career than each of those guys at this age.
I'm not saying he has had a better career. I'm saying quality of matches in the ring. Because I went back and I was looking at Bret's matches up to that point. I was looking at the highest rated matches, and I was watching a lot of his matches. And Shawn, this the same thing. But I look at the frequency of the wrestling and the quality of the opponents, and I don't know what it is. I honestly just think that to this point, it could be the time and everything like that too. Because I love the matches. The Hart Foundation tag matches they had with Demolition and things like that. But maybe it's just. It just seems like to me at age 34, like in my mind, if 1991 was Bret didn't hit his prime until in WWE 90, what would you say, 93, 94?
Well, I think it was 91 because he won the IC title at SummerSlam 91. So I would say that's probably when he took off as a singles guy from there. And then he stayed there for another like 6 years of, quality stuff after that. Okay.
And Shawn was very about 98, 99, 97, 98. Well, 96, he had the match with Bret.
96, he won the title, yeah. I mean, he was retired by 98. So. Yeah.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot, and I'm watching a lot of Shawn. I watched Hell in a Cell again.
That's good. It's good for you.
What's that?
Good for the soul.
And I watched them. What really made me decide, kind of jogged my mind about this, was because I watched the Iron Man match,
Mm-hmm.
and I compared the Iron Man match with Omega Okada, and to me they both got 6 stars. 6 stars down the middle.
Yeah. I guess I would just say if you're factoring in the frequency of matches that Omega's having or been having the last few years, that you would also need to factor in the duration and like the length of it. And if, to me, just, I haven't seen all of his matches, so but I just know like he's had really good matches for the last like three or 4 years. So since he was like 30 or 31 to 34, he's really come to prominence and had all these great matches over that period of time. But those other guys had great matches, maybe you could say a little less infrequently just based off of the schedule, but for a longer period. So overall, like their careers, I would say that Shawn's had a lot more great matches than Omega, and Brett had a lot more great matches than Omega because Omega's had them in a shorter period of time. I'm just doing the math, man. That's it.
I know you're a stats guy and you're a math guy, but my point in all this was, if we're using Shawn's career and Brett's career as a barometer, to me that means in the next, I would say 3 to 4 years, there's no way that Omega's career couldn't eclipse there too. There's no way that it couldn't? Yeah, that it couldn't eclipse them. If let's say they didn't peak for 3 or 4, 36, 37, both those guys, that's really when, like, if you look at AJ Styles right now, and he's 39 years old, 40? Yeah, 39, 40, I think, yeah. And AJ's having the best matches, well, arguably some of the best matches of his career at age 40 years old. I think the future's bright for the cleaner. It is. The Shawn thing is even more because, so he was great for those years, and then he had the back injury and left in 98 for 4 years, came back in 02 and wrestled another 8 years and he changed his style a little bit, right? Because it was a different time and he was getting older and injuries and things like that, but he never really got to AJ Styles, right? They adapted that later on in life. They more of a storytelling aspect. Right. But I would say that with him, unlike a guy maybe like Flair, I don't think Shawn ever hit a point where he was not able to deliver at a high level in ring. I think he got out at a point where he was still delivering at a high level, unlike a guy like Flair, who stuck around really, really long and got past a point where he couldn't live up to what he had built for himself on his reputation. So Undertaker, to me, that's the Undertaker. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so he's at that point now as well. So I think that, to say Omega would have to wrestle at this level for another 10 years at least to get to a point where I could compare him to Shawn, I would say. Really? Absolutely. He's had 3 good years. He needs to have at least another decade into his 40s of doing this. At that point, you could say he's had 10 to 15 years of quality matches consistently, and that would maybe come close to Shawn, who had probably 18 years of quality matches. Well, we can't just talk about quality match, because you can talk about, Omega in Bola and things like that, having great matches there. But if you want to talk about mainframe, main event level, highest. All right, so we're going to touch base. What year is it? 2018? Yeah. We're going to touch base on April 3rd, 2023. I'll be dead. You can write it down if you want. If you want to put it in the calendar, you can put it down. I just can't guarantee. I'll accept that meeting as tentative because I can't guarantee that I'll be around for that. But if you want to set that meeting, I'll book a conference room if you want. That's fine, and we can set it up, and I'll see if I can make it. I'll see if I'm there. I'll make it. I'll go. Cena returning at Rumble Pop for that statement. That was tremendous. How do you follow that up? This has been another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. He's your host, the Stallion. We're going to miss him. I'm the Enforcer. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at All Night Long WP. Follow us on YouTube. Just go to YouTube. We're not cool enough to have our own YouTube URL yet. So I think we're 40. I'm a piece of shit. We're 40 subscribers away, right? We're close.
Yeah, I think we're like 40 or 45 subscribers away.
So if you're listening and you like us, you hate us. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you don't even listen and you just hear somebody say, "Hey, I should go follow them." YouTube, search All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Give us a follow. It helps us. Like I said, Facebook.com/AllNightLongWP, on Instagram, Twitter @AllNightLongWP. We'll be active on every single social media outlet this week leading up to WrestleMania. We're going to have probably 2 shows this week, maybe a third one if any of our guests come through. And you can see and watch all of the shows live on YouTube. That's it, right?
That's it. That's
Damage 365 Radio Network is where you could find us as well. He is the Stallion. I am the Enforcer. I am Team Kenny. He is Team Cody. And we're tapping out.
I'm going to let this play for a while, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through.
We're still on, right?
To make the rainbows in my mind when
I'm enjoying. Yeah, we're still on. I'm enjoying it.
Spend some time with you.
We got a heart from Anthony Hall.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I.